Super Mario Bros. Has been ported or remade on different platforms. The most notable one is Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo. Did you know that there was an arcade port for Super Mario Bros.? In 1984, Nintendo ported some of their games to their Versus arcade cabinets. In February 1986, Versus Super Mario Bros. Was released in the US. Nintendo also released Mario and other games on the PlayChoice 10, where the NES games are clones of the home version. After playing this game all the way through, I can tell you the differences between the console version and the Versus version. And now let's dive into Versus Super Mario Bros. You will notice that throughout the levels, the placements of enemies and power-ups were altered, and platforming is extra challenging. There's some minor adjustments to the layout of the earlier levels, so they shouldn't be a problem for seasoned players. Some stages from the Japanese Super Mario Bros. 2, also known as the Lost levels, replaced some of the stages in Mario 1. Some of the levels that were swapped out were 1-4, 3-2, 6-3, 6-4, 7-2, and 7-3. Some level orders were switched around, like World 5-4 and World 4-4 for example. If you want to get 1-ups, this is more of a challenge. The 1-up mushroom in World 1-1 is still in the same spot, but 3 others are in a different place, and you need a certain number of coins to activate them. Otherwise, the hidden blocks won't appear. Nintendo did fix some glitches in this version, such as getting the infinite lives from the turtle shell, and getting to the minus world. While some of the bugs were ironed out, I still found some glitches through my playthrough. You can still change the victory theme back to the overworld theme if you are fast enough to reach the flagpole at Star Mario. Another glitch I found was the beanstalk re-extending in World 6-2. Didn't expect that. There's a really weird glitch in 6-3. If I jump at a Koopa at the right spot, I bounce off the turtle and create lines. I'm not sure what caused that. Then there's this in World 1-2. Whoa! While Versus Super Mario Bros. Isn't as punishing as the Lost levels, it still has its rough moments, especially since some of the levels were also featured in the Japanese Mario 2, like I mentioned. The hidden blocks in World 3-2 are as cryptic as they were in the Lost levels version. I found a beanstalk in World 6-2, but I couldn't reach it until I stumbled a hidden block by mistake. What's with the night levels and hidden blocks? World 5-1 doesn't have any power-ups to my knowledge, so if you enter this stage as Small Mario, you might have a hard time, especially against the Hammer Brother at 5-2. The biggest challenge may not just be the difficulty, but it's also the controls. Instead of using a D-pad, you use a traditional arcade joystick. It really cramped my hand at times. That's also why it made some precise platforming very tricky, and even without the stiff controls, it led me to so many deaths. Thankfully, the game gives me a break at times. When you lose all your lives, if you continue before the timer runs out, you can start on the last world you were on and save the coins you collected. When you continue, the game will give you 4 lives, though it depends on the operator's settings. Some power-ups are in good spots, like in World 8-2. The mushroom is where the 1-up would have been, and if you don't get hit along the way, you can get to the fire flower in the middle of the level and become Fire Mario. This is one of the few instances that makes the game easier. Speaking of easy, don't feel like playing all the levels? We still have warp zones which can be found in the same spots. In World 1-2, you can take the warp zone to Worlds 2, 3, or 4. World 4-2 has 2 warp zones. If you take the first warp zone, you can go to World 5. Of course, we can't forget about the shortcut found in the hidden blocks near the middle of the same level. This warp zone will take you to World 6 through... What? Only World 6? So you're telling me that after the limited 1-ups, going through harder level design, getting used to platforming with the joystick, the game catches you a break with warp zones. But now, to get to World 8, I can only go to World 6. Play through that world normally to get all the way to World 8? Well, other than that, The issues I had with the game were pretty minor, and I was still having a good time. But all that fun turned into rage because World 6-3 just friggin' stinks! There was some tricky platforming trying to dodge bullet bills, but then there were some bullcrap moments like jumping at a Paracupa to get to the other side. If you're 1 pixel off, you're dead. You have to run and jump at the very edge of the tree and try not to slow down. There's a part where you can either take the top path or the bottom path. Most of the time, I'm forced to take the lower part of the level because I missed my jump. Kick the Koopa out of the way, then run as fast as you can, and once you're at the very edge of the tree, hit jump, and just hope to get to the other side. You'll find that World 7 can be pretty tough too. The second stage of this world is really hard to swim around if you have a power-up, since there's a lot of tight spaces and a lot of enemies swimming around. World 7-3 was another level that nearly broke me. It's not as bad as World 6-3, but I lost so many lives here due to some pixel-perfect jumps in dealing with the stupid fish. Guess they're called Cheep Cheeps for a reason. At the end of the level, there's a large gap from the tree to the flagpole. Run full speed off the 2 trees, and jump at the edge of the last tree, and you should be able to make the pole. The last level of this world has a maze. There was a maze earlier in this game, in World 5-4. This path is very different than the NES version. Once you figure that out, you just have to go through this fake Bowser and you're good. And finally, there's World 8. Other than some minor differences, it's pretty much the same as the home version. For me, it's definitely a heck of a lot easier than the last 2 worlds. Probably because I played the home version so many times. On my Twitch streams, I beat this game using warps, and I also beat it warpless. Oh man, I can tell ya, this game is not easy. But that ain't really a bad thing, is it? I'm glad to have challenge back in the original Super Mario Bros. It's not difficult as the Lost levels, Kaiju ROM hacks, or some insane Super Mario Maker levels, but it feels so refreshing to play a different version of this game. I recommend giving this a shot if you ever come across this machine. For those that don't have an arcade near them, or just want to play this at home, you can download vs Super Mario Bros. On the Nintendo Switch's eShop. Come check out vs Super Mario Bros. And the many games we have to offer. If you want to book a private party for you, your family, and friends to play this and many other games, go to vagabondarcade.com for more info. Thanks for watching and keep on gaming.